Welcome to another edition of the Purple Pod on the KSU Nation YouTube channel. I am Steve.
And I'm Ken.
And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about probably the biggest game on K-State's schedule, K-State versus Texas on Saturday. Before we do that, though, hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure you turn off the sounds on your phones. My bad for that. Kenny, how you doing today, brother? You look a little different.
It was part of the Halloween costume. I was Gomez Adams, and I had to shave everything but the mustache, and then I shaved the mustache this morning. So that was pretty cool. So now I'm Ken Babyface climbing. Just getting the baby face going. But yeah, man, I'm excited, dude. I'm really, I think I've been looking forward to this game since the start of the season. This is a big game for K-State. And you know what? Quite frankly, this is a big game for Texas also. I know that they're looking at K-State with some worrying eyes as well. So this is it's going to be a good one, man.
Absolutely. And Texas has beat K-State 6 years in a row. K-State probably should have won there a couple years ago. In fact, that was a game that got the offensive coordinator, Courtney Messingham, fired, was their performance at Texas 2 years ago. And it turned out well for K-State, obviously. Colin Klein did really well last year, won a Big 12 championship. Notre Dame came calling, wanted him to be their OC. He decided to stay, stick it out, hopefully win another Big 12 championship this year. Got Avery in the wing. Things are looking good for CK and the Cats. This is a huge game, like you talked about. It's equally as big for K-State as it is for Texas. Now, for Texas, they're playing for, not just a shot at Arlington and a Big 12 championship. They're playing for a shot at the college football playoff. Now, that's probably we'll see, out of the reach for K-State. But winning another Big 12 championship is something you want to do if you're Chris Kleiman, Ken Kleiman, K-State, any of that. It's a big game, and you want to send Texas in the Big 12. I kind of feel like this is not only a big game for K-State, but probably the biggest game for the Big 12 this season. And we can talk about Texas versus OU. That was a huge game, sure. But in terms of the conference going forward, this is probably the biggest game of the season, along with Oklahoma State versus OU, which is also on Saturday. Everyone in the Big 12 is rooting for K-State. Even KU fans are rooting for K-State to win at Texas this Saturday. Hopefully we get a K-State versus Oklahoma State game, Oklahoma State versus K-State in the Big 12 championship. Do you feel like this is a huge game for the conference going forward, Mr. Ken Kleiman?
Yeah, I think this is a big game. I mean, we've got the number 7 team according to power rankings right now going against the defending Big 12 champions. This has hype written all over it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, we're going to get into this. We're going to be talking about K-State versus Texas. Let's bring up the stats graphic. Here we go. That's not right. Hold on. Just 1 second. I thought I had this ready. I thought I had it ready, Kenny.
You didn't have it ready.
I guess I did not have it ready.
K-State podcast on the internet.
This is the best K-State podcast on the internet.
We are the best.
We are the best. Here we go. All right. This is the stats breakdown for K-State versus Texas. Tuck Texas. I love it. Get along to get along. I like it. All right. K-State offense, it appears, has the advantage everywhere across the board, from scoring offense, total offense, passing offense, rushing offense, and all of that. Kenny, I want to ask you about this. Where do you feel like K-State has the biggest advantage going into Saturday? Is it running the ball, DJ Giddens and Avery Johnson and Will Howard and Trayshawn Ward, or do you feel like they need to air it out to keep their defense honest?
Well, I mean, okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to offensive plays, we got to look at a couple weeks back. What was it that Now you could say that Texas was overlooking Houston, but what was Houston doing that was making them so successful against Texas? Because that was a close game that they had against them. And what I would say is what Houston does best, which is passing the ball. Texas has some trash safeties, dude. They have the most trash secondary. We used to think our secondary is bad. Their secondary is really bad. They do not know how to recruit for they don't know how to recruit safeties. Now, does that mean that we're going to be throwing it all day long? Well, it's kind of it's I don't know, because judging by what Kleiman said in his conference, he's like, well, what we're going to do what we're known for, but we're going to also try to sprinkle in some things here and there. So that just kind of
Sure.
tells me that we're going to be doing the same thing. At least that's what he's saying. You know, he obviously anything could happen, and he could be throwing us a curveball, throwing everybody a curveball so that he can get the edge. But honestly, if I'm Coach Kleiman, I'm thinking I want to throw to these safeties because they're not very good. They're
But
they're
can K-State's receivers get open? That's a question.
I mean, we'll have to see. Um, Jace Brown stepping in was huge. I feel like that's kind of opened up a lot of opportunities elsewhere around the field. It's given opportunities to our tight ends who've also stepped up a lot. Given that Ben Sennett wasn't 100% for that game against Houston, but I'm glad that they were able to sit him down a few plays, throw him in there here and there, but not overplay him, because that was a game that we really didn't need him, especially since he was still healing from that injury from the week prior. But I'm thinking take some chances with throwing the ball. I definitely think running is going to be it's our bread and butter at this point. We've really dialed in how we like to manage our offense. I think Will Howard is an absolute beast. I think he has done absolutely incredible since the involvement of Avery Johnson to the offense. I think that's really sort of lit a fire under him and gotten him that chip on his shoulder, that competitive edge, that focus that he's desperately needed since the beginning of the season. And yeah, man, I have tons of faith in our offense. I think our offense is going to be really, really good. I would just if I'm watching it as a fan. Now, I'm not the coach. I don't know what's going on in there. I'm in their locker room, in the video, watching the film. I don't know what they're seeing, but from what I'm seeing, Houston was able to throw the ball a lot and get a lot of success off of that. And you know, they weren't able to do that against us. Um, so I'm thinking, and we were able to actually throw it downfield against them. So I'm thinking if we could pull that off against Houston, we could pull it off. And it seems like Will's actually throwing the ball really well. We're going to have a nicer weekend this Saturday. So, I mean, everything's boding well for this to be a really, really good matchup. And I think offensively, I think we're going to be good. It looks like we have all the weapons. They're completely healed up as far as I know. I haven't heard any news otherwise. But yeah, what do you think, Steve?
So my thoughts are that this game is going to be won and lost on how successful K-State's offense is. I truly
That's
believe
true.
that. I truly believe that. You look at K-State's two losses. Missouri, K-State had the ball, 3 minutes left, tie game, 27-27. Offense could not come down and score to win the game. What happens? Missouri gets the ball, they come right down, and they kick a game-winning field goal. Pretty salty about that still, 61-yard field goal. No way he could ever make that again. Anyways, Oklahoma State, what happens? K-State gets the ball twice in the last 5 minutes to go down to potentially tie the game. Both times, K-State's offense could not convert. K-State's defense has done enough throughout the season. Yes, they've been torched here and there with the passing game. I feel like this game all comes down to the K-State offense. What does CK dial up? How much does Avery Johnson play? Are the receivers going to get open? How much are you going to run the ball versus pass the ball? this is a really, really, really big game for K State's offense because when I was watching Alabama versus Texas earlier this season, Texas was having a ton of success with their front four getting pressure. They were dropping 7 players, man. They were running cover two. They were running quarters. They were doing anything they wanted on the back end because their front four was getting pressure. Now, how can K State capitalize on that? They can run some screens. They can run some patterns to the running backs out of the backfield, run the ball. K State's got to be able to score some points in this game. K State is undefeated when they score 38 points or more this season. When you look at Texas, and we'll get to the K State's defense in a minute, Texas has not scored 40 or more points in a single game all season long. If K State can get to 38 points, 41 points, that's asking a lot against a really, really, really good Texas defense. I think K State wins this game handily. It really comes down to how well Will Howard and the offense plays on the road. We know that they've struggled a little bit earlier this season, again, at Missouri, at Oklahoma State. And I feel like Will Howard struggled a little bit as well at Texas Tech. Thankfully, Avery Johnson did not struggle. We'll see how much both of them play. I do feel like Avery Johnson is going to play a decent amount on 3rd and short, 4th and short, situational. But Will Howard has got to be the guy. He has not thrown an interception in 3 straight games. Hopefully he doesn't do it in a 4th straight. K-State's offense is probably the biggest piece of this puzzle of whether or not K-State is going to win this game or not, man. You agree with that? You feel like you've been nodding your head like you agree a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, what you were saying about Texas not reaching, not reaching a 40-point game this year. I mean, I honestly I think that we haven't talked about their offense yet because we're really talking about our offense, and I think I think Texas is a solid team. This is the team that we need to we have to respect them for who they are and what they can get done. I mean, they're not number 7 in the country just out of nowhere,
Absolutely.
they're a solid team. And so I think it's important for us to get in there, get things done. I like when you mentioned potentially using the some more jet sweeps and stuff like that, because I think Jaden Jackson doing some jet sweeps has looked pretty good. And I think Coach Kleiman was even saying that they might be doing stuff like that, just trying to get their linebackers' eyes off the play a little bit to kind of distract them a bit with these motions and jet sweeps and stuff like that. And honestly, I think we've looked pretty good on the jet sweep. But yeah, it's all going to come down to who's got the hot hand between the running backs. Like I said last Sunday, my eyes are on Giddens when it comes to away games, because Ward is the one that really shows up on away games, and Giddens is more of the hometown hero. So it'll be interesting to see how Giddens performs on the road. I think the locker room is probably pretty hype right now.
Oh yeah,
I think everybody knows in the back of their mind this is a big game. I know that coaching staff and coaches, they're probably, we don't really look at rankings. We don't really care about all that.
they do.
Yeah, I mean, they look at it, but they also, I know that the players are hearing about it, and they're looking at it too. They know that this is a big game, and so I just know that this is going to be hype. And man, Texas better watch out, man. Our offense is not to be messed around with. We're definitely going to be taking it to them, man. And with the this is what I was saying also last week in terms of I think it was our old friend Cody. He was saying that he wanted to see Will pass to Avery, and have Avery
That'd
score
be nice.
a
I
receiving
guarantee
touchdown.
Casey's got some trick plays ready.
Well, I was saying, don't do that for Houston. Pull that stuff out for the Texas game, because Texas, that's the game that you want to bring that kind of stuff out. but when like don't waste it on a Houston game. And it was great that they
Right.
didn't really waste anything on the Houston game. They played a pretty clean, straightforward Kansas State football program football. Like it was nothing fancy, nothing crazy. But I would just say, um, if you're gonna pull out tricks, this is the game to do it. I would think,
Absolutely.
you know,
Absolutely.
putting out Avery and Will at the same time, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty hype. I'm
Absolutely.
just saying.
Absolutely. I agree with that. All of that. Yeah, K-State's offense, they're the reason why, like I said again, that I feel like K-State's either going to win or lose this game.
Fifth
What
rushing offense. That's unreal, dude.
K-State's got to be able to run the ball. I feel like they're going to have to do a lot of quick play action, just enough to get the linebackers to move just a little bit to get those seam routes going. Ben Sinnott has got to be a guy that is active in the offense after not really being a threat the last couple of weeks. They've been hiding him. K-State's got some wrinkles they're going to throw in this week. It's a big game, and Will Howard has to play well, and I feel like he will. He will.
Woo, look at this, dude. This matchup for the rushing offense versus their rushing defense. That is hype, dude.
You look at a scoring offense, they're 13th versus a 15th scoring defense.
That's hype.
Dude,
That is hype.
It's hype all around the board, man. K-State's got the advantage, I think, in 10 out of the 16 on the screen here. They have the advantage in every category: scoring offense, total offense, passing offense, and rush offense. K-State's got to be able to take advantage of that this weekend. It's a huge game on the road. I'm excited about it. Let's turn our attention to the K-State defense. Texas is going to be starting a backup quarterback, Malik Murphy, who didn't really, light the world on fire last week. 150 passing yards, interception, a touchdown or two. They look a little bit different, a lot different. Let's be honest. They look a lot different with him in there instead of Quinn Ewers. K-State's defense, though, has improved as well in the passing department. They only gave up 95 passing yards last week, which is not very much when you consider K-State had been giving up over 200 yards every single game. They got an interception last week. They decided to throw in 3 corners at one time. K-State's really diversified on defense. They've figured out their what they're doing, their identity. I'm excited for this matchup, man. I'm excited to see if K-State can make Texas one-dimensional, get them away from the run, which is really what hurt K-State last year when they were going against Bijan Robinson and I think I forgot their backups, Roshan Johnson. Both of the running backs went over 100 yards last year. K-State cannot allow that to happen again. K-State has to make Texas one-dimensional. How worried are you, Kenny, about Texas's offense?
So the only thing that I'm worried about Texas's offense is, I think I told you this during the Houston game. We were talking about after we realized that the Houston game was basically just done. I was saying that Texas really, really relies on the fact that that they just rely on the big play. They're not the kind of offense that you really see going in and getting like 8 yards and then 4 yards and then 7 yards and then 5 yards first down and then 7 yards again and then 10 yards first down. Like they don't really chip away like K-State does. You know what I mean? They really, really rely on the 50, 60, 70 yard passing throws or the big runs or whatever. They don't, they're just all about these big explosive plays. So if I'm K-State, I want to make sure that we shut that down. And the way that you shut that down is up front by pressuring the quarterback and obviously making sure our linebackers stop the run game. And then if they try to make these throws on the backup quarterback, then we just got to put pressure on him and not allow him to have any time to throw these 60, 70 yard throws. Because I'll tell you what, Mitchell, their receiver Mitchell, I mean, he's a beast. Georgia transfer.
Worthy is the guy that worries me, man. That guy is
Worthy and
lightning
Mitchell
in the bottle quick. He burned our NFL corners last year. Now we were without Julius Brents for basically the entire game, but he was burning Echo Boydo all game. And I'm really worried about him, but I'm not as worried about their quarterback as I was with Quinn Ewers. Definitely a different ball game.
Steve,
what's up?
Are you from Tennessee?
Because you're the only 10 I see.
You're the only 10 I see. Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, they really rely heavily on these explosive plays. They're not very what was the word that you used, Steve, when I was describing this? It was a perfect word, and the word is escaping me right now. In terms of like, they're not a very good team that gets like 7 yards and then 4 yards and then first down, and then like an 8 yard, and then
They're not consistent.
I guess, yeah, or efficient or whatever.
They're more
Yeah.
like efficient, ground and pound, and milk the clock
Yeah.
and
They,
sustaining drives, basically.
yeah, exactly. They're not good at sustaining drives. They're just waiting for the explosive play to happen. And I would also say a big if they ever get into the red zone, I feel like that is right where we want them to be
We want
because
them on third and long, and then keep everything in front of you until they get to the red zone. Because, like you said, they're red zone offense, guys. Look at that. Take a look right there. 100th in the country, 79%. That is where K-State can take advantage of this game, man.
how are you 100th in the country
With
at
all those
red zone
athletes,
offense? How? If you just, I mean, it just blows my mind. It blows my mind.
K-State's, I mean, looking at K-State's third down offense, K-State's great, fourth in the country, going against the third best third down defense. Third down is going to be huge in this game, and red zone is going to be huge in this game. It's going to be a battle, like you said, man. I am worried a little bit about Sark coming up with some things we haven't seen yet. He's been doing it for a couple years now. Last year, I was pretty impressed with how much they scored on us, 38 points. We had a pretty darn good team last year. We had a first-round draft pick on the D line, a couple of NFL corners, and NFL safety. Daniel Green, I feel like he's going to play in the league next year at linebacker. And they were able to score at will on us, honestly. And like I said, the biggest thing for me, stopping the run, making that quarterback have to throw to beat you. Keep everything in front of you. Take some chances when you have to. Get some turnovers. If K-State can force 2 or more turnovers in this game, I feel like K-State wins this game no matter what, man. If you get at least 2 against that team, that is massive for sure. And it starts up front, like you said, man. If the K-State D-line can get some pressure on a quarterback, stop them in a backfield on some runs, force them into some bad decisions, it's going to be massive for sure. They're going to score points. Let's be honest. They're going to score points. They're 23rd in the country in scoring offense. Now, they've not scored 40 or more points yet this year. In fact, they only scored 28 last week on offense because of a special teams touchdown. And we can talk about the special teams too if you want to. But they only scored 28 against BYU, who gave up 44 to TCU a couple weeks ago. So I'm not as worried about our defense against their offense. Yes, they're going to score here and there. They might score in a first possession or two. But I feel like once Klanderman settles in, like he always does, I mean, going back to that Oklahoma State game, 1 touchdown they gave up the entire game on defense. 1. And they haven't given up a single touchdown in 9 straight quarters. Really hope K-State's defense continues to dominate, man. Because as much as the offense wins you the game, the defense keeps you in games, which is what they did at Oklahoma State, which is what they did for the most part at Missouri. They gave K-State's offense plenty of chances to go down and win the game. Unfortunately, they couldn't do that at Oklahoma State or Missouri, but K-State's defense has kept them in a ton of games this year.
Yeah, it's the defense as far as the secondary has struggled early on, but I feel like we've completely turned that script around. Especially just witnessing the Houston game. I mean, their quarterback was ranked pretty high, actually, in terms of like his passing game, and we could like completely shut that down. Now you could blame the weather for that, you can blame the travel for that, whatever. You can blame a whole bunch of things. I just think our cornerbacks, our safeties have really just we got it dialed in, you know. And I really think that like what you were just saying, the defense is what is going to allow our offense to really thrive in this game. It's all gonna boil down to that, man. It's gonna boil down to who wants it more. It's gonna be a dogfight, I think, between both teams. However, I do think that given the quarterback situation in Texas, And the fact that we look like we're dialed in right now. We just look like we're dialed in. Um, you know, 80,
Bad
80
time for Texas to be playing us right now, honestly.
oh yeah, 80,
Really bad time
82,
for them.
82-3 in the last 2 games.
And they're without
That's
their starting quarterback. This is a really, really, really bad time for them to be playing
yikes,
K-State.
yikes, Longhorns. Do you ever notice that their logo kind of looks like a vagina with ovary thing sticking out? You ever notice that?
I've heard so many people say that, man. I've heard so many people say that.
It literally looks like a viola. What do they call that? Whatever.
Okay,
Whatever that.
all
I
right.
don't know the anatomy of that, but it looks like a vagina with the ovary thing sticking out.
Okay. K-State offensive line and defensive line are going to be huge in this game. K-State's only given up 11 sacks allowed so far. They've got 19 on defense. Both of those are better than Texas in what they've done on the O-line and D-line. K-State's going to win this game in the trenches, man. I really feel like that. And Will Howard as well, like I talked about, man. This is a monster game. Let's go ahead and we're going to talk about our score predictions. We're going through this pretty quickly. K-State's got a basketball game tonight. First exhibition, first game of the season. And we're going to try to do a preview of the season coming up hopefully soon. But we're trying to get this done pretty quickly so K-State fans can watch that game.
Yeah.
Here we go. Bring up the Stats Award graphic from Parker Clemming on Twitter. He has a
look at the disrespect. Look at the disrespect.
Only 33.73% of the time does K-State win this game. I don't agree.
That is total trash. If it was more like 50-50, then I could totally get behind that.
Right.
This right here, this guy's smoking some serious reefer crack, dude.
I wouldn't disagree with that. He's got a projected score of basically 27-21. Which I'm going to talk about later. That's actually a decent score, but not who I think is going to win this game. There's a ton of blue and a ton of dark blue, which is what you want in terms of efficiency, running the ball, passing the ball, success rate, offense, defense, special teams. Both teams only have one red, and both of them are 87. This is a really, 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 really close game. Kenny, go ahead and give me your score prediction for this weekend before we get into our hot takes. Kenny, who do you have winning K-State versus Texas, and what's your score?
Well, I have K-State winning. I mean, like, is it that obvious? Like, of course I have K-State winning this game. This is a joke. I don't think that the score is going to be this low, though. Look, when you've got a team that's averaging about 38 points a game, I would maybe say that is going to be a little less, given that we'll be going against the toughest team on the schedule. Let's just say what it is. I will say that K-State is going to be walking out with 35 points, and the Longhorns are going to be sitting, crying in their little pants and pissing in their pants because they just got whooped 35-21.
All right.
I've been pretty good with my score predictions this year.
You've been pretty decent. You have been pretty decent. I do agree.
I even called the KU Oklahoma game close.
You did.
It was
you did.
literally almost exact.
I almost had the UCF score correct for the K-State.
You almost, yeah, that was pretty wild.
Here's what I'm going to say. I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game. Lower scoring. K-State's still going to score plenty of points here. Lower scoring game. Both teams have a good defense. Texas's defense is for real. Their offense is not for real without the quarterback.
Let's go.
Will Howard is the man. K-State's O-line is going to dominate. I got K-State winning 28-20. K-State's going to hold them to a couple field goals. They're going to kick one field goal in the fourth quarter to make it a touchdown plus 2-point conversion game. K-State's going to keep the ball and roll down the field and never let them get the ball again. K-State's winning 28-20, hitting the under on the game. I think the under is like 50, 55 or something like that. I like K-State to win this game 28-20. Now, if K-State can get into 30s, if K-State can score in the 30s, they're winning this game no matter what, because Texas's offense is not doing that. They only scored 31 at Houston, and we already know Houston is a terrible team. Texas has not scored 40 or more points this season in a single game. If K-State can get to 30, 35, 38, somewhere in there, K-State's winning this game. Hopefully they can do that. I got K-State winning 28-20. Let's get into our hot takes this weekend. Kenny, what is your biggest hot take for K-State at Texas this weekend in a huge matchup in the Big 12, number 7 versus number 23 in the college football playoff poll?
My hot take, my K-State hot take for this week, K-State versus Texas, is that Will Howard is going to complete a bunch of touchdown passes. I mean, it's going to be won by the pass. I think he's going to be throwing the ball, and I think that the pass is going to be completed by maybe Brooks. I'm thinking maybe Brooks steps up to the plate here, and Brooks probably catches like an 80-yard pass for a touchdown. I mean, he obviously catches and runs, but yeah.
I love it. Get along says K-State wins 35-31. I like it. I
like that. You see, the thing is, the more I think about it, I would much rather see, and I know anybody would rather see this, but I think K-State is going to win by more than just one touchdown. I think our defense is proven.
Well, that's what I said.
Now with the 20, I actually can agree. I can see where you're going with that, because maybe they score a touchdown, maybe they score another touchdown, and then they start kicking field goals from then on.
Yeah,
I can see that.
I don't see their offense kicking it in high gear against our defense in the second half. Clanderman's been known to get better at halftime and stop teams from scoring touchdowns. Like I said, man, here's my hot take for this weekend. Here's my hot take. And it's not a huge hot take because I'm calling for it every single week. K-State is going to score a non-offensive touchdown this week. Finally, would be the first one of the season in game number 9 on defense or special teams. I'm thinking it's going to be defense. So I'm thinking a pick 6 by Marquis Siegel. He's going to catch this one. He's going to run down the field, and he's going to score a touchdown. K-State's going to score a defensive touchdown. Will Howard's going to have 200 passing yards. K-State's going to have 200 rushing yards. Very balanced attack. Like I said, K-State wins 28-20. That is the K-State hot takes for this weekend. Let's get into the look around the Big 12, then we'll get out of here. This is a pretty quick podcast on the Purple Pod this week. All right, let's see here. Pull it up.
Yeah, which is strange considering that this is the biggest game of the year, arguably.
I know, man. I know. It's huge, man. Here's what I want to say really quickly. I don't know if you saw this or not, and this is a big deal to me. Some Texas insiders, people that have their own fan website, all of that, they were laughing about a Texas defender possibly coming in and hurting Avery Johnson and getting him out for not just a game but for the season. And they're laughing about it. I think that's disgusting. I think it's terrible that people would say that. I understand they were joking for the most part, but that is horrible. You would never wish that on anyone. Texas people, specifically their beat writers, are terrible. One of them, I think Jeff Ketchum or Ketchup, whatever you want to say his name is, he was calling for Deuce Vaughn to transfer to another school so we can get more NIL money and be featured more. And that guy is a prick. A lot of the Texas people that run those websites are pricks, and I think it's vile and disgusting. I stole those words from Scott Wildcat on Twitter, that those Texas people would be calling for Avery Johnson to get hurt in this game. I just wanted to mention that really quickly. They're already the troll of the week, man. Troll of the week.
Troll of the week. We didn't even have to get into it. They're just
Yeah,
automatically
the troll of the week.
the troll of the
Remind
week.
me to
I
put
was
that
gonna
in
say
the,
that.
review of the game.
I was gonna say the troll of the week was the freaking AP polls, man. Like they're the trolls of the week for sure. Putting K-State at 25, and now they're 23. Are they 23 now?
One of them doesn't even have K-State in the poll. One of them has
Oh my God.
K-State completely out. The other one at 25, and then K-State's
Oh man,
23rd in the college football playoff poll. So,
dude,
all right.
what's gonna happen when K-State just shuts
Oh,
shuts out freaking
K-State's got to
Texas?
be in the
What
top
would happen?
15.
What would
Yeah,
happen?
apparently, you have to beat Texas or Oklahoma to get any respect, and K-State hopefully can do that this week. So,
Yeah, there you go.
let's look around the Big 12 really quickly. Then we'll get out of here. We'll take a look at every Big 12 game and pick them. Here we go.
Right.
All right. There's already another big game coming up this weekend. TCU, Texas Tech
That's a big game. That's like the bottom of the barrel.
at Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock, Texas. It looks like Texas Tech is favored by 3. Over under is 59.5. I'm going to go first here. I'm going to pick Texas Tech to win 38-35, covering the over under and hitting the line exactly as a push. What do you got here for TCU versus Texas Tech?
What an ugly game, dude.
A pair of 2 and 3 teams in the Big 12.
Man, I guess who do I feel like Texas has this game. It might be more of a I think it'd be more of like a 28-14 game maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe 28-21. We'll go 28-21.
28-21, Texas Tech winning. And that is getting the under on the spread. I said the over. We'll see what happens. He has Texas Tech covering. I do not. We already talked about K-State versus Texas. I have K-State winning 28-20, hitting the under slightly. Money line on K-State. You also have K-State winning 35-21, which would hit the over on that game. Let's go to the other really big game in the Big 12 this weekend. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. This is a massive, massive game.
This is massive, especially that it's in Stillwater.
Absolutely.
I have Oklahoma State winning.
Okay, what's your score? Because OU is favored by 5.5. Over under is 60.5.
60.5. Oh, okay. I would say Oklahoma State is probably going to get 36, I think, 35, 36. And OU might be like 30.
Okay, so you have the over on it, and you have Oklahoma State winning. I really, really, really want Oklahoma State to win this game. And because I'm a Big 12 guy and I'm a homer, I'm going to pick Oklahoma State to win. I don't feel great about it. I think OU is legit. KU had a big win last weekend. I got Oklahoma State winning 31-30, hitting the over slightly, and obviously Oklahoma State covering as the outright winner. Let's go to Houston versus Baylor. It looks like every Big 12 team is playing this weekend. Houston at Baylor.
Yeah, the last bye week was last week. That was TCU, okay. And yeah, there's no more bye weeks.
Houston at Baylor. Baylor favored by 4, over under 57.5. I'm going to go first here. I don't think either one of these teams are great. I do think Houston is better. They're going to respond really well after last week. I got Houston winning, I don't know, like 45-42. This is going to be super high scoring. Neither one of them have a great defense. Houston wins 45-42. What do you got?
I've got Houston winning as well, actually. Surprising. Even at Baylor, which is going to be wild. Houston's going back to Texas, and they're going to lick their wounds a little bit. They basically just said go next to K-State. They're like, yeah, it was basically just like,
they didn't like the cold, man. They hated the cold up here.
They basically logged into the game, and then they're like, they forfeited like right from the start. They just did not want to be there. So, but I'm gonna say 40-36. Houston.
We both have the over, and we both have Houston winning outright. Okay, this feels like a weekend where a lot of underdogs are going to win, man. We've picked underdogs in every single game so far. Outside of Texas Tech, that's the only one that I picked, but I even picked it as a right on the line here. But it feels like a weekend that all the underdogs are going to win. Speaking of underdogs, Cincinnati is a 3.5-point underdog at home against UCF, a pair of new Big 12 teams that are both 0-5, figuring out very quickly that the Big 12 is big boy football. I am going to have, oh man, this is tough. I don't feel like either of these teams are great. I saw UCF in person. I was impressed with their speed. Cincinnati's decent. I'm going to, because it's 57 degrees, it's a little bit chilly, I'm going to pick Cincinnati to win 28-24. Low scoring game.
Oh
Under.
my gosh, dude. If UCF loses this game, I think they fire their coach.
Oh man, really? You're calling for them to fire their coach?
I know. I think they will. Like, their fans have not been happy with him at all.
No, they have not. You're right.
Oh man, dude. If they lose this game, I think UCF. The thing is, I believe that UCF has been in their games. Like, they've actually like been in it. They basically just dropped the ball like at fourth quarter or whatever. Like they end up like playing themselves. I think the only game that they legitimately got schooled on was the KU game. But like they dropped the ball against us in the fourth quarter. They dropped the ball against Baylor. Obviously, we all know about that game.
I watched it at your house. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was unreal. So I think they've legitimately been in their games other than the KU game, which happened after the Baylor game.
Sure.
They've literally been in it. So, and I think Cincinnati has not been in it because I've been saying that they're a high school football team this entire year. So I'm going to say UCF wins 40. I think this is a big game for them. I think it's going to be 40 to like 14. 41 to 14.
So you're taking the under, but you got UCF winning. All right, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, probably the third biggest game in the Big 12 this weekend.
These are all great matchups. Every matchup in the Big 12 is like super hype. Holy crap, dude. Even the last one there. Wow.
KU at Iowa State. A pair of teams that are, right near each other in the standings.
Who would have thought Iowa State and KU would be at the top of the leaderboard? Who would have said that at the beginning, especially with everything happened with the gambling problem?
So Iowa State is favored by 2.5, over under 53.5. I'm going to go first here. I got Iowa State winning this game because it's a home game. They've looked a lot better throughout the season, man. They beat Oklahoma State, TCU. Their defenses look good. I'm going to take Iowa State 20. No, I'm going to take them 34-27, winning by 7 points, covering the spread and covering the over/under. I think whoever was a home team in this game was probably going to win by a touchdown. I got Iowa State winning this game, man.
Iowa State, man, they've been taking games off of good teams.
They are sneaky.
They've been taking games off of good teams, but only really when they're at home. So, and they're at home. So, and I think Kansas won their Super Bowl last week. So
they did.
They won their Super Bowl, and now they're all going to be sitting on their laurels because they think they're done. So I think this is going to be a smack on the face for KU. I think it's going to be 14-35, Iowa State.
35-14, Iowa State. Oh man,
actually,
no, hilarious.
It's gonna be 20. It's gonna be 28-14, Iowa State.
Okay, 20.
I don't think Iowa State's gonna be that big.
Okay, all right. So you got the under, and I got the over. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Last game of the weekend in the Big 12, BYU at West Virginia. The Mountaineers are favored by 10 points, over under 50.5. I don't think BYU is good at all. I think West Virginia is a decent team. Having said that, I think West Virginia only wins by 9 points. We're going to go a weird score of 35-26, hitting BYU there on the spread, and then hitting the over, though, on that game. West Virginia wins 35-26. That's my weird score. What's your pick on this game, man?
Yeah, like if West Virginia didn't lose to that Hail Mary throw, they would have been.
Yeah, they'd be 4-1.
Yeah, they'd be 4-1. They'd be tied. They'd be like a 6-way tie. Can you even believe that? Can you?
Yeah, I mean, look at
that's crazy.
I mean, looking at their team, they lost to Penn State by a couple of touchdowns. Houston, and then their other loss was at home against Oklahoma State. Yeah, I think they're a decent team. I don't think they're a great team. Obviously, K-State destroyed Houston last weekend, 41-0, and they lost to Houston
by
on
a Hail Mary throw.
So,
I don't think they're in the same league as
no,
Texas, OU, and K-State. I don't think they're in the same league, but I think they're like the gatekeepers of the good teams. You got all the basically literally all the bad teams that came in, and then you've got West Virginia, and then you've got all the legacy teams.
I agree. So what's your score here?
I'm gonna say that West Virginia wins. What is the
spread's 10?
Oh, it's just under 60 points.
50 and a half.
I think their quarterback is gonna also have an amazing game running the ball around. He's insane. He's a quick little guy. I think they're gonna put on a show against BYU. It's gonna be like 41 to like 21.
Okay, all right. So you got the over, and you got we both have an over on this game. So if you're betting on it, hit the over on this game. But you got West Virginia covering 10 points. I do not. So that is the Big 12 picks for this weekend. So that is the another episode of the Purple Pod here on the KSU Nation YouTube channel. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, telling your friends, sharing it,
commenting
everything. Make sure you comment something nice.
What episode is this?
Kenny's face. I think this is episode 15. Pretty sure it's episode 15.
Gosh, man, we are flying through these numbers.
We are flying through it. Make sure you guys tune in here in about 10 minutes. On
how many subscribers? How many subscribers do we have? 84.
We need 16 more.
16 more to hit triple digits.
There we go. And we'll never look back after that. So
we'll never look back.
We're trying to get to 100 or more. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, tell your friends.
Get 100 before the end of the season.
Yes, absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Kenny, this was fun, man.
Oh, yeah. It's always fun getting on here talking about K-State football, making sure that everybody is well aware of the news and making sure everybody is just hyped for this week, man. This is a big week. This is a big week, not just for K-State, but for the whole Big 12. I mean, you just saw all the games that are going on there. I feel like it's solid matchups up and down. You know, we've got a lot of underdogs winning this. So, I mean, this could be the big game. I mean, it isn't it crazy that November has like all of K-State's like big games. You know what I mean?
And K-State basketball's got a big game on Monday too against USC, man. This next 7 days are massive for K-State.
It just lined up so well with KU, Iowa State, and Texas all being like really good teams this year. Baylor's like the only game that we have that's kind of like a gimme, but
yeah, the last 4, man, they are. It's a gauntlet for sure.
It's gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be super hype. I can't wait to see how it turns out. I'm hoping that K-State wins out. I think we're still in control of our own destiny here, and if OU beats Oklahoma State, then and we win out, then it's going to be K-State versus OU in the Big 12 for sure.
This is an elimination game, no doubt about it. Whoever wins this game is in a driver's seat for Arlington, because basically they'd have to lose 2 more times before the team that lost to them could jump them, because if they had the same record, then obviously whoever won the head-to-head is going to go to Arlington. So this is a make-or-break weekend for K-State and for Oklahoma State, and even for Iowa State and KU too. You know what I mean? Iowa State is obviously still in it. Huge weekend for the Big 12. Huge weekend for K-State. This is a lot of fun on the Purple Pod. I am Steve.
And I am Ken.
And go Cats, baby.
Go Cats! Baby!
Woo!
Yeah.